I hope everyone who's been joining in on sessions today has really been enjoying themselves and learning a lot today. A lot of talented people who are wanting to help you learn and grow and develop your passions. And I'm happy to be back there with you speaking today. And you're probably wondering what soft skills are. And today we're going to kind of go into what soft skills are versus what hard skills are. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the skills that are necessary to be a really good data scientist or really any data career. And then be willing to answer any questions you have. Please let me know if I need to stop at any point. So you're probably wondering what the difference between hard skills and soft skills are. Hard skills are the skills that are technical skills or abilities that can be quantified or measured. So that's your software skills, the ability to learn a second language, and machine operating skills, or just general knowledge base that takes time to develop and hone. So I know some of you today have listened to presentations about artificial intelligence, machine learning, and different programming languages and data visualization. Those are some of the examples of your hard skills that are very data specific. Now on the other side, there's your soft skills. Your soft skills focus more on your social ability and how you relate with other people. Your quote unquote people skills. Some examples of your soft skills are the way you communicate, how adaptable and flexible you are, your leadership skills, and then how well you collaborate and work in a team setting. So you're probably wondering, why are soft skills important anyway, especially as someone in data? Because data people are very technical and we tend to not always be the best when it comes to interacting with other people, because we tend to be pretty introverted. So in 2017, Google published a lot of research they've been doing about their own employees and their own teams. And it led to this headline that you see: the surprising thing Google learned about its employees and what it means for today's students. Does anyone have an idea of what surprising thing Google learned? Well, what Google learned from the two studies they conducted, Project Oxygen and Project Aristotle, was that the top skills needed to build successful teams and to ultimately be successful at Google, the top 7, were all soft skills. And when you're looking at the more high-level hard skills, when it comes to coding and programming languages, among other things, actually came dead last in the metric of whether or not a team would be successful. So if Google, a company that's one of the most well-known data and engineering companies in the world, with some of the most talented people, is saying that your data skills are important, your engineering skills are important, but really the most important thing is your soft skills and how you interact with your teammates and the outside world. So the difference between being a good data scientist and a great data scientist is going to be having soft skills and being able to effectively show how you interact with other individuals. So there are hundreds of different soft skills, and you can easily Google what are 100 soft skills. And depending on your personality, your background, and everything else in between, from environment to what naturally is your strengths and weaknesses, will kind of identify what soft skills you may need to work on more or less. And, as you kind of look at a list of different soft skills, what I would recommend is taking an internal evaluation of what am I good at and what do I need to work on? And also seek out feedback from your parents, from your teachers, from your coaches, from your friends, from people who know you and want the best for you. So they're going to be honest with you. So there's many soft skills that are needed to be excellent in data science. And you'll talk to many people who have data careers. And there's some skills that everyone will agree on. And then there's some additional ones that kind of varies depending on the role and the person. Today I was going to go into 7 skills that have been shown to be not only a top priority within data, but in the working world in general, and help you kind of identify those skills, some easy ways to develop those skills. And those 7 skills are communication, empathy, critical thinking, curiosity, collaboration, adaptability, and being detail-oriented. So the first thing we're going to go over is communication. And why is it important? Well, everything we do involves other people. We work with diverse teams, and we're ultimately telling people what projects we're working on, why they're important, and what we're doing with the results we find. So being able to speak to people clearly and politely, while also being able to listen to what is being said, you'll be more productive individually and in teams and have more success. And successful communication not only involves how we speak, but also how we write, and then our ability to listen to other people and to effectively read the messages people are trying to convey to us. So how can I work on my communication skills? How you have to approach this, again, depends on your personality and your experience, because you might be better at one form of communication or another based on if you're an introvert or an extrovert. But kind of some tips I would give is practice telling stories. Data science in general requires you to be able to effectively tell a story. And we tell stories all the time about things that we see, things we hear, and things that have happened to us. So as you're telling a story, think clearly of how did I get from point A to point B in the story, and so on and so forth. And did it make sense? Did everyone I'm telling this story understand what was going on? Something also to help with your oral skills is, practice public speaking. If you have an opportunity to present in front of 2 people or 200 people, it'll be scary, but put yourself out there and be willing to try it. Because even though most time you're not going to be giving 200-person speeches in your professional career, it's a skill that it needs constant refinement. But once you start doing it, you'll feel more comfortable in doing it. Also, working on your written skills. Write as much as you can. Write clear and concise emails. If you're doing papers, if you just have an opportunity to write your thoughts down, to practice writing in a formalized way that is easy to understand what the message is, and that is using proper grammar. And then also just work on socializing with other people you know well and people you don't. And this is important because this will practice your listening skills. Because a lot of people are great at talking, but they're not very good at listening. But listening is an essential part of communication. And it has been shown that not only in data science, but in pretty much every industry, that the number one soft skill employers are looking for is effective communication. That number is actually 92% name communication, the most important soft skill in the working world. So our second soft skill today is collaboration. And again, I kind of alluded to it earlier, but I said that, many people in data science tend to be very introverted and we don't always work great with other people. But the nature of being in data science is that no matter what kind of role you have or what industry you work in, you work in teams. You have to be able to work independently, but you also have to work with other people. So you're going to be working with people on your team. You're going to be communicating with different people who need to understand the message and to have insights from your message. So, it's important because people with varying skills and backgrounds need to get together to solve problems. So listening and working with others is key. But also collaboration has been shown to increase efficiency and improve the quality of our results. So some ways to kind of work on our collaboration skills. If you're not already on a team, whether academic, whether athletic, or even artistic teams, join a team and get involved in trying to effectively reach a goal on that team. Get involved in community activities. So a great way to do this is different volunteer projects, especially if it's a big volunteer project that gets large groups together and may only be for a day or a weekend or a once a month occasion. And then also ultimately to embrace group work. Group projects, some people love them, some people hate them. But in the professional world, you will do a lot of group work. So get in the mindset that not every group will be the best group you're a part of, and you'll have your frustrations, but you'll learn so much by being in that setting. So third soft skill I want to talk about today is empathy. You'll also sometimes see this labeled out as your emotional intelligence and understanding what's appropriate. And, empathy is probably one of the most important soft skills to have in any working environment where the decisions you make impact people. Humans are at the root of everything we do, especially when we're trying to solve problems. And we have to have a respectful understanding of people's different perspectives and backgrounds. So, and it's necessary too, especially in the world we live in today, where we sometimes don't realize that there's another person on the other side of it, especially from a technology standpoint. We forget that we might be communicating online or through an email or a text, and we say things we shouldn't because we forget that other person and what they're thinking and maybe where they're coming from and how they're communicating to us. So some ways to work on our empathy is do acts of kindness. When we do things that not only help other people, especially when they may be in a bad place, emotionally, or just not in a good situation to be in, we not only bring their lives up, but we kind of have a deeper understanding of maybe what they're going through and how to help them and how to be better. Again, something also kind of going back into our previous point is to socialize with people, but try to interact with people who have a different background than you, whether that's they're from a different area than you, they have a different culture, they have a different religion, or just some other big difference, and be able to talk with each other and ask questions about their lives and understand their perspective and maybe why they think a certain way or why they find something important. And then also, this might be hard for some, but try to interact with people without the technology sometimes. And when we are interacting, whether in person or through technology, be very meaningful with how we do it. Make sure the messages that we're sending are appropriate, that they're friendly, and that we can try to minimize any potential pain that we cause someone because either we said something that was not appropriate, it was harmful, or just because we were forgetting that people think differently than us. People have different backgrounds than us. So keeping that in mind, especially when what we're trying to do is to make people's lives better. So something that's also going to be really key, not only in a data science career, but really any time in your life is embracing the soft skill of adaptability. It's important because technologies, systems, tools, and the problems that we face and the problems that we have to solve evolve and change rapidly. So we must be able to quickly pivot and look at what we need to address in order to grow and to develop and to keep progressing the science forward and just to keep growing as individual people. So a way to work on our adaptability is do activities that make you step outside of your comfort zone. Don't do anything that's dangerous, but if you're normally someone who won't get up in front of a crowd, every once in a while, try it. And then also I see someone here through mindfulness and this is also, I think mindfulness helps with our adaptability, because when we're doing mindfulness activities like meditation and just kind of step away, be able to kind of draw our attention inward, it allows us to be more receptive to change in a healthy way. So when we do need to pivot, especially when it was a quick or unexpected change, we can do so in a healthy way, but also in a way that doesn't undermine our goals. Now, I'm sure you've heard about critical thinking skills today, and they are essential to any career involving science, but they're definitely important in data, because when we're looking at data, we're sometimes looking at thousands, even millions of different pieces of data. And we need to be able to look past the surface level, to ask the questions, to share ideas about what we're seeing and how to approach it, and ultimately conclude on how to solve the problem at hand and what may be the result of solving this problem and kind of any additional insights we may gather. And ultimately, building critical thinking skills, it's not always the easiest thing to do. And this is also a part of being a lifelong learner and, doing I would say mind stretching activities. So it kind of does play on your technical skills on this one, but do puzzles, do word searches, do logic games like Sudoku to challenge the way you think. And then always when you're presented with information, ask questions. Never take things at face value. Some people will get threatened if you ask too many questions, or they feel like it's okay, you asked this many questions, you're done. There's no such thing as asking too many questions, especially when you're trying to do good work. So you've also probably heard a lot today about needing to pay attention to details, and being detail oriented is an extremely important soft skill to have also in data, because the conclusions that we reach when we're looking at data and how we approach problems is dependent on what data we observe, how we look at the data, and the insights we draw from the data. And again, this plays into, we can't take things at surface level. We have to be able to dive deep in and see maybe what stands out and what doesn't when we're evaluating what's being shown to us. So you might be asking, how can I become more detail-oriented? Well, first thing I'd recommend is read often. Doesn't matter if it's fiction or nonfiction. Find things you like and pay attention to the details or the facts that are presented in the story, because sometimes those tiny details that kind of seem obsolete can really change the meaning of what message is being sent, and it can change how we interpret the meaning that an author is trying to convey to us. And this kind of picking up on details, we can see it in words, we can see it in numbers. Activity also I kind of recommend is go to different places, whether it's somewhere you go to all the time or somewhere you've never been. Make sure your phone is put away, observe what is going on, and ask the 5 W's. Who is there? What are they doing? Where are you at? Why is something happening? Why are the people there? And when are you there? Just asking those, even that 5 W questions, when you're just doing tasks at hand is good, because you're just paying attention for the little things that you may overlook. And I encourage you to do this without the screens, just because it's easy to get distracted by your phone or outside people kind of trying to communicate with you while you're doing an activity like this. And then, in general, I encourage you to minimize the screen time. It's easy to fall into the phone vortex and look at your screen for hours upon hours. And what I would really recommend is take breaks from screen time and just pay attention to what's going around you. And it'll make you even a better person, knowing that the world's not going to stop because you took an hour away from your phone or your computer. And the last soft skill kind of want to talk about today is curiosity. Every person who works in data or works in science will tell you that curiosity is key to, not only doing the work, but also to respect and appreciate the work and the people who do it. Curiosity is important because innovation and advancement are reliant on people asking questions, and curiosity drives the creativity needed to allow for new processes and products to be developed every day. And in data, we ask questions because we want to solve problems. So be curious about why something is the way it is, maybe why it's not the best way, and ways we can improve it. And, how can you embrace your curiosity? Give yourself a goal to learn at least one new thing every day. It doesn't need to be something profound. It could just even be a fun fact. But also embrace areas that you find of interest that are, skills or hobbies or other passions that you want to keep building a knowledge base on. Have like 1 or 2 areas and just keep learning on this, whether by doing activities or reading or just asking people questions who also have these passions. And then also, playing into the detail orientation and the critical thinking piece, just ask questions. There's never too many questions and there's never a dumb question. So be willing to ask them. And these slides will be available later, but I gave a couple different resources so you can grow your soft skills. So, there's a Google certificate that's free to improve your soft skills. There's a TED Talk on how to work on our empathy and kind of diving a little into our empathy crisis. And there's also a TED Talk to measure how adaptable you are and how to improve. And then also an article from Harvard about how to improve your communication skills. I hope you take something from this today, and I thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I know there were some things in the chat I couldn't really address, but I'll try to message them here now, and I'll put my personal email in this chat, and I'll also be able to be reached on LinkedIn at Morgan M. Miller. And as always, embrace your curiosity, keep learning and growing, and love data. Thank you.